Today we're going over the top 10 tips that I've seen asked a lot over the last 2 days since New World Aeternum came out in the global chat. We're going to answer 10 questions that you're most likely asking as you begin the game. And if you're not asking these questions, maybe you'll see somebody else in chat who's asking them, and now you'll know. As always, if you think I left something out, leave it down below in the comments. Let's jump right in. Question number 1, do you need the Angry Earth DLC to play New World Aeternum? And that answer is no. You do not need Angry Earth in order to play the Aeternum release. Although playing through the game, there are a few things that will be restricted to you, such as the level cap is going to be at 60. You will not be able to equip gear that goes beyond level 60. You will also not have access to the Elysian Wilds on the lower part of the map, and you will not have access to a mount. But the revamped story, the upgraded visuals, and the cinematics and everything else will still be available to you. Second, is New World Aeternum pay to win? Short answer is no, but there are pay to advance items in the store that will help you level up your trade skills or your weapon skills faster than normal. Aside from that, the store is mostly cosmetics. What is the best archetype and the best weapon? This question I see a lot is a very subjective question because the answer is very heavily based on your play style. The archetype is irrelevant for the weapon, I will say, but the 3 trade skills that you get with each archetype, their importance will heavily rely on what you want to do. As far as the weapon, that is also very subjective. The spear or the bow might be in a very good place right now. But if your playstyle is more for a ranged magic dealer, then it doesn't matter how good those are, your playstyle doesn't merge well with them, and you would be better off using a fire staff or an ice gauntlet. I am a tank that relies on sword and shield and great hammer for my build, and no matter how powerful the spear or the bow is, I will just not do it because it's not my playstyle. So choose a weapon that goes along with your playstyle, and if you get good with that weapon, it won't matter if one other weapon is tuned a little bit better, you'll still do just fine. Along with that question, what is the best trade skill? And this also is very subjective. If you are looking for something to earn you the most money, then weaponsmithing, armor smithing, engineering, and arcana are always really good skills to go for. But lean into your playstyle. If crafting is not your thing and you'd rather gather, then go for the trade skill that aligns with your gathering desires. You can make money with all of the trade skills in the game, even if it's just the most basic of going out and harvesting trees for an hour to turn around and sell that onto the market. You'll do just fine making money because there's other people out there who want to refine and craft who don't want to go do that gathering, and they will gladly buy your resources. Another big one I see is what's the best way to level? If you would like to get a fine-tuned, strategized route, I'm sure there are some out there on the internet that will tell you something along the lines of do the main story until X level and then run X expedition until you reach this level, and then go to this expedition and run it until this level, and then end in the Elysian Wilds. Don't even go to the north part of the map. If you are looking for one of those guides, you can find them on the internet. But as a general rule of thumb, following the main story quest line will get you to max level in a very short amount of time. They have streamlined the leveling experience, and within the first day of the server being released, there are already people in the 50s that I could see. So within 12 hours, people were almost max level. If you're a first-time player, I would not recommend that though. Play the main story, watch the cinematics, enjoy the game, and take it all in. Do not try to rush to the end game. The 6th question that I see a lot is, can you choose your starting area? And the answer to that is no. Unfortunately, whenever you start in the game, you are randomly pushed into one of the 2 starting areas. If you are trying to start with a friend, and it is very important that you both start in the same area, then you can go through the process of making a new character to hopefully get the same area. But if you just want to slog through the first part of the game, all quests eventually lead to some of the bigger hubs, and you can eventually join together at that point. But you unfortunately cannot choose your starting zone. The next question I see a lot of is, do I have to do PvP? Or alternatively, do I have to do PvE? And the answer to that is no on both of them. You can play this game almost completely PvP if you would like. Of course, in order to level up to the point where you can do PvP, you will have to do some of the quests to get to that level. But after that point, you can completely turn to just doing PvP stuff and have plenty of fun. Alternatively, you can never flag yourself for PvP or do any of the PvP encounters and just do PvE in this game and have plenty of fun as well. Before we go further, if you're finding value in the videos so far, I would greatly appreciate a like. It tells me what kind of videos to make for you guys, and let me know down below which tip you thought was the most useful, or if you think I left anything out, go ahead and leave it down below. If you have any additional questions, ask them below, and other people as well as myself can help you out. As always, while you're scrolling back up to keep watching the video, hit that subscribe button. Question number 8 I see a lot of is, do I have to join a faction? And alternatively, do I have to join a company? And the answer to both of those is no. Joining a faction is a great way to be able to boost your experience, as well as giving you access to an additional vendor. But you do not have to join a faction. And alternatively, if you choose to join a faction, you don't then have to join a company. It is completely fine to not join a company and to play on your own, or to just randomly join other companies while they are doing the same thing, such as the races or even the wars. Along those lines, I see a lot of people asking where the factions are and what level you can do them at. At level 17, you gain access to be able to join a faction. If you venture over to Everfall, you will see the different faction vendors over in this area, and each of them will have a story quest line for you. You can choose to do all 3, or you can choose to do the one that you want to join, complete their quest line, and at that point you will be able to join that faction and have access to the faction store as well as the faction quests. And lastly, question number 10 that I see a lot is around the mount. And people are asking if you have to have the expansion, and if you have the expansion, where you can get the mount and at what level. So unfortunately, in order to have the mount, you will have to have either the DLC if you're playing on PC, or if you're playing on console, you will already have it. And you can access the quest by going just north of Everfall, right over here on the map. At this point, you'll be able to talk to a vendor. He will send you on a very short quest over to this lake where you will find your horse. And that's my 10 beginner questions and tips that I see being asked a lot in the chat. I hope you enjoyed them. And if you're new to New World, try checking out my other videos in my New World playlist, especially my fresh start guide for new players. I hope I see you guys in Aeternum.